Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is a crazy wild day and honestly I'm still trying to catch my breath after what we just watched on our screens. I'm sitting here typing this as fast as my fingers will let me before my deadline, and my head is just spinning. Grab a coffee or maybe something a lot stronger because we need to talk about the absolute insanity that just went down. And let's start with the setup because the setup was actually beautiful. I mean, Katie Logan Spencer has been through the absolute ringer lately, hasn't she? We all know Brooke and Ridge basically shoved her out of her PR duties at Forrester Creations without even giving her the courtesy of a heads up. And then Eric, sweet old Eric who promised to stand on the runway with her with his arms raised in victory, just completely abandoned her the second Ridge snapped his fingers. So this fashion show was supposed to be her ultimate victory. It was her moment to shine. Bill Spencer was standing there looking so incredibly smug, like the proudest man on the planet, and honestly, I was kind of rooting for them. The lights were flashing, the music was pumping, and the press was just eating it all up. Logan Designs was officially a massive, undeniable success. But of course, this is a soap opera, and nobody is allowed to have nice things. Nobody gets a happy ending without some kind of massive disaster ruining everything. So the show is going great. The models are strutting, the guests are in complete awe of these new designs, and you just know that somewhere across town, Brooke and Ridge are completely fuming. Just probably seething that Katie is just pulling this off. Bill is beaming. Liam and Hope are there supporting, and Katie is literally glowing. She's finally out of Brooke's shadow. She's finally proving that she doesn't need the Forresters to validate her existence. And the fact that they were using Eric's commissioned designs, this was just the perfect middle finger to Ridge. It was a statement, a bold, unapologetic statement. But then we get to the finale, the big showstopper moment. The moment where the lead model is supposed to come out and take everyone's breath away. The music swells, the lights dim down to that dramatic spotlight, and the curtain opens. And then, oh my god, you guys. The curtain opens, and instead of a model striking a pose, a body just falls. A literal dead body just tumbles out onto the runway and collapses on the floor right in front of the press. It was Melissa Dillon. Dillon is dead. She just dropped dead on the runway wearing this incredibly expensive custom Eric Forrester gown. In the blood. There was so much blood just pooling on this gorgeous fabric. It was horrifying. I actually gasped out loud. Katie's scream. I don't think I will ever forget the sound of Katie screaming. It was this visceral, terrified shriek that just cut through the entire room. One second she's on top of the world, and the next second she's staring at a murdered employee bleeding out on her runway. It was just so crazy. But wait, let's back up a second. Why Dillon? Why was Dillon even there? And why was she wearing the showstopper dress? I mean, Dillon was just a receptionist who got fired at Forrester Creations, right? Steffi hired her. She was working in the design office. She wasn't a runway model for Logan. So how did she end up on the backstage at the Logan Designs launch, stuffed into an Eric Forrester gown, and then murdered? The logistics of this are just melting my brain. Someone had to have brought her there, or lured her there, killed her, dressed her in that specific gown, and propped her up behind the curtain. That takes time. That takes planning. That is a message. Someone is sending a massive bloody message to either the Logans, the Forresters, or both. And the chaos in that room was just unbelievable. The press didn't even stop taking pictures. They just kept flashing their cameras at Dillon's body while Katie's having a full-blown panic attack and Bill is trying to physically shield her from the cameras. It was so morbid but so realistic for how the paparazzi act. Bill is shouting at security to lock the doors. Liam is trying to pull Hope away from the stage, and the whole glamorous night just instantly turned into a terrifying crime scene. I mean, can you imagine the headlines? Murder on the Logan runway. Brooke is probably going to use this to say Katie is cursed or something, because you know Brooke can never just be supportive. She's going to spin this into a reason why Katie should have never left Forrester. So of course Chief Baker shows up. Good old Chief Baker probably holding a hot dog off screen, right? But honestly, he looks serious this time. He immediately locks down the building. Nobody leaves. It's a full-blown homicide investigation now. And Baker makes it very clear that every single person is a suspect. The fashion war between Forrester and Logan just escalated from stolen designs and boardroom yelling matches into a literal murder investigation. The stakes have never been this high. If a Forrester did this to sabotage Logan, it's the end of their legacy. If someone else did this, who is it Baker is going to have a field day interrogating these rich, entitled fashion people? Let's talk about the suspects, because my mind is just running in a million directions right now. First of all, the internet is already pointing fingers at Steffi Forrester Finnegan, and honestly, I kind of get why. Steffi has been acting like an absolute tyrant lately. She is in her full dictator era. She just forced another hiatus on Hope for the future, just to be petty. She's been screaming at everyone, and she has this massive burning hatred for the Logans right now. Plus, she's the one who hired Dylan at Forrester. Did she find out Dylan was defecting to Logan? Did she snap? But wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Steffi is ruthless in business. But she's not a cold-blooded killer who would ruin her grandfather's dress with blood. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on Steffi, but you get what I mean. The optics for her are terrible. But what if Steffi is being framed? Think about it. The dress. The fact that Dylan was wearing an Eric Forrester design when she was killed. That feels so incredibly intentional. It's like the killer is saying, look at what Forrester does to people. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe someone is trying to destroy Logan Designs by associating their big launch with a gruesome murder. If Logan is tied to a homicide, nobody's going to buy their clothes. Ridge and Brooke crashed the press conference earlier this week to call Katie a thief, so we know they are willing to play dirty. But murder, that's a huge leap even for Ridge's giant ego. I just can't see Ridge stabbing a girl and tossing her on a stage. So if it's not a Forrester, who else? What about Remy Price? You guys remember Remy Wright? The guy with the underground ties who has been terrorizing people. We already know Dylan got that terrifying phone call at the office from a disguised voice saying they had unfinished business. And we know someone was stalking her. Remy has some unexpected family link on Canvas. And a lot of us thought it was Dylan. Maybe Dylan owed him money? Maybe she knew too much about his past with Elektra. This whole thing with her dropping dead on a stage feels very theatrical, almost like a mafia hit. If Remy did this, then the fashion war is just a convenient cover for a much darker storyline. And then there is Ivy Forrester. Honestly, I wouldn't put anything past Poison Ivy at this point. She has been so incredibly toxic lately. She manipulated Will and Elektra, hid that letter, and then when she got caught, she literally showed zero remorse. She looked Elektra in the eye and said she'd do it all over again. Ivy is unhinged. And guess who knew about Ivy's secret, Dylan? Dylan overheard Ivy and Daphne talking. Dylan knew the truth. Did Ivy find out that Dylan was a liability? Did she silence her permanently so she could keep pushing Elektra toward RJ? I mean, Ivy is reportedly leaving town soon anyway. Fleeing the country after committing a murder would certainly be one way to write her off the show. Or what about Elektra herself? I know she's usually the victim in all of this, but hear me out. Elektra has been betrayed by literally everyone she trusts. She's heartbroken. She's waffling between Will and RJ, and she absolutely hated Dylan for kissing Will. Elektra even demanded that Dylan quit her job at Forrester. People snap when they are pushed too far. And speaking of Elektra, we have to talk about Will and RJ for a second. Will and RJ literally just had a vicious verbal brawl in the office over Elektra. RJ is mocking Will for being a Spencer. Will is dragging RJ for his Massimo Marone bloodline. It is a total mess. And right in the middle of this toxic love triangle was Dylan. Did Will's lingering feelings for Dylan push Elektra over the edge? Or did RJ do it? RJ is so desperate to win Elektra. Maybe he thought getting rid of Dylan would somehow fix Elektra's waffling? I know it sounds crazy, but RJ's ego took a massive hit when Will burned him. Men with bruised egos do stupid things. And throwing Dylan's body onto a Logan runway definitely hurts the Spencers, which RJ would love. And we can't forget about the Hope Logan angle in all of this. Hope has been on the verge of a total breakdown. Steffi has been bullying her. Her line is shelved. And Katie just offered her a lifeline to come work at Logan Designs with her brother Deke. Hope was probably sitting in that audience, thinking this was her new home. And now, her potential new workplace is an active crime scene. How is Brooke going to react to this? Brooke is already furious that Hope might defect to Katie's company. Now Brooke is going to use this murder to guilt trip Hope into staying at Forrester. See Hope. Logan is dangerous. Stay here where it's safe. Even though Forrester is just as toxic, I just keep thinking about poor Katie. She finally gets a win. She finally steps out of the shadows, builds something of her own, gets Bill's full support and proves everyone wrong. And the writers just rip it away from her in the most violent way possible. It's so frustrating to watch as a fan. Why can't Katie ever just be happy? Why does her success always have to be tainted by tragedy or Brooke's interference? Now she's going to be spending the next month answering police questions instead of selling clothes. And Bill is going to go on a total rampage. If he finds out a Forrester did this to ruin Katie's night, he might actually burn Forrester Creations to the ground. Honestly, I am just so tired, but I can't look away. This storyline is messy, it's chaotic, and it has so many moving parts. Between all the corporate sabotage and now a literal murder mystery center stage, the show is firing on all cylinders right now. Who actually believes this is going to end well for anyone? I'm going to be thinking about this all weekend. The image of that dress. Eric's beautiful design, just ruined. And Katie's face. She looked so broken. I really hope Baker actually does his job for once instead of just eating hot dogs and asking obvious questions. We need real answers. Who killed Melissa Dillon? Why did they put her in that dress? And how are the Logans and Forresters going to survive this? I'm exhausted, my fingers hurt from typing, but I had to get all these thoughts out to you guys. Let me know in the comments who your number one suspect is. Is it Steffi, Ivy, Remy, or someone we haven't even thought of yet? Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next update.